Oh, what the shit? Fantastic.
And it was so boring.
Is that what I think it is?
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
I hate them.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That was so awful.
You can't handle the truth.
Thank you, Jack. And with that, it is time to begin week 2 of See It, Stream It, Skip It, your Metro News affiliated podcast talking all things movies and if they are worth your time in the theater. I am your host, Ethan Collins, and joined alongside me, as always, is my co-host, Celeste Ellis.
Hello.
And as I said, this is week 2 of our podcast. So if you missed the first week, be sure to go check those out wherever you get your podcasts. We talk about a movie that is mostly playing in most theaters. It's Devil Wears Prada 2, along with Hokum, which is a very good, underrated, low-budget horror movie that I would highly recommend to anyone. So with that, Celeste, are you ready to get into the first movie?
Let's get into it.
All right, let's roll the trailer.
You want to know what makes a hero? It's not destiny. It's not something you're born with. It's searching for greatness.
Johnny Cage, you have been chosen for Mortal Kombat.
Then realizing you've had it in you this entire time.
Finish him!
It's showtime.
Get over here!
Mortal Kombat 2, directed by Simon McLeod and starring Carl Urban, Adeline Rudolph, Jessica McNam, Josh Lawson, and Martin Ford, which is the sequel to the 2021 live-action adaptation of the very popular arcade video game, where Earth's champions are pitted against one another in the ultimate no-holds-barred gory battle to defeat the dark rule of Shoho Khan that threatens the very existence of the Earthrealm and its defenders. And if I threw a lot of words at you that you don't understand, this movie may not be for you. What say you, Celeste?
I say that this is a very niche film for people who are big fans of Mortal Kombat lore, who are huge fans of the game, but maybe not for a casual viewer.
Yeah, it should be mentioned that the only extent that I have to playing these games, I play a lot of video games myself, but there's a DC video game that's designed by the same people who make Mortal Kombat, so I know like a tad bit about the characters, but not nearly as much as I guess I should if I was going to see this movie. You said you have virtually no experience with the Mortal Kombat characters.
I remember the arcade games that were just around out in the world in the 90s, and I remember those being a lot less focused on so much backstory and lore and more just two people fighting each other.
Well, I mean, that's kind of how it is with arcades. Arcade games, with the video game adaptations, they were able to spread out a little bit of a story. But I guess let's stop talking about the video game and technically get into this movie. We both watched the first one in preparation for this movie, the second one. I had not seen it since I probably first saw it, which was, I feel like, on a streaming service, because they were simultaneously doing streaming service and out in the theater because this was in 2021 during the COVID era, and virtually nobody was going to the theater. So that's my experience with it. You have a different one.
I saw this movie or the original, the Mortal Kombat 1. I saw it at a drive-in, and I actually really liked it when I saw it at the drive-in. In hindsight, I'm thinking maybe part of that was that I just really missed the movie-going experience, because on a rewatch, I didn't really have the same feeling that I had when I watched it in 2021.
It has that kind of repetitiveness and really latches on to the first one, which, by the way, if you haven't seen the first one and you go to see this movie, you might be really lost, because
I think completely confused. If you haven't seen the first one, this one is going to make little to no sense, I think. This one doesn't do a very good job of getting into the deep lore, which, may be a good thing. They don't spend a lot of time on that, but it also makes it more confusing if you're not already familiar.
This is the ultimate movie of they knew their target audience and they just absolutely swung for it.
Right. I think this has a lot of fan service. So if you're a big fan of the video games, if you loved the first film, I think you'll like this one. It just misses the mark for me as a more casual viewer.
Not to mention the fact that I was wondering, this is 5 years after the first installment, so it took a long time to get a sequel for it, and it really heavily hinted at a sequel. I hate to kind of get into spoilers here, but this one also hints at a sequel pretty heavily. But if you're going to wait 5 years, we're going to be waiting a pretty long time, and I would imagine that it was due to not a lot of financial success. This one, it's made $103 million in the box office, and it needs probably about $50 to $100 million more to even break even, and I don't think they're going to do that.
Right. I don't think that this movie is going to suddenly get a boost. I'm imagining that most people who see it aren't recommending it to everyone to go see it. So I don't see this one doing well financially. It may really hit the mark for hardened fans. I just don't think this is for everyone.
And it should be mentioned as we're getting to the last 2.5 minutes here, it may look from the trailer that this might be something that you want to take your kids to. I would highly recommend that you don't.
This is a very hard R movie, not only because of the graphic violence. It has a lot of graphic violence, but it also has a lot of really hard R language. So this is definitely not family friendly.
Yeah. So with that being said, it's time to get into the title. Celeste, I'll let you go first. See this, stream this, or skip this?
This is a skip it for me. I'm not a huge fan of this movie. I wasn't that entertained. It wasn't even as much martial arts as I was hoping for. When I want to watch a martial arts film, I actually like non-CGI, hand-to-hand combat. This doesn't hit the mark for me on that either. So for me, this is a skip it.
Just skip it entirely. I'm going to at least go stream it because I watched the first one first on streaming. And like I say, I kind of enjoyed it. And I'm hoping that maybe that's just one of those things where it's the same thing. I didn't really enjoy my experience at the theater with this movie. So maybe if I just saw it at home but at the same time, if you watch this at home and you don't like it, you can just turn it off. I mean, I feel like the only time I'm ever going to say really hardcore skip it is if I feel like walking out of the theater. And I definitely didn't feel like walking out of the theater for this movie.
I didn't feel like walking out of the theater on this one. I just wouldn't ever see it again, even streaming.
Would you see the third installment if it comes out?
No.
So you're going to... Hence the term, skip this entirely.
Yeah, this is just not for me. If you're a huge fan of the games, if you loved the first movie, I think you'll probably like this one too. It's just really not for me. That's not to yuck anyone's yum. If Mortal Kombat is your thing, then go see this. But just for me, it's a skip.
Well, I'll get into spoilers on the next movie a little bit. Celeste really enjoyed this next one. And we'll come back with it here on See It, Stream It, Skip It.
If there's one secret to happiness in my life, it's taking care of the kindest creatures on earth. Sheep. I read out loud to them. Mysteries, whodunits. I know who the killer was. I like to pretend that they follow along, but they're only sheep.
Why would he stop there?
He was just about to say who the killer was.
Wake up! Everybody wake up! We found George on the grass, and he's not moving.
What?
Lily, tell us what to do.
Our shepherd was murdered. And we shall solve the crime.
The Sheep Detectives, directed by Kyle Balda and starring Hugh Jackman, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Emma Thompson, Nicholas Braun, and Molly Gordon, along with Bryan Cranston, is a story of when a mysterious incident disrupts life on the family farm, the sheep realize that they must become the detectives as they follow the clues and investigate human suspects, as they prove that even sheep can be brilliant crime solvers.
Okay, so based on that synopsis, it's going to sound like this is a terrible movie. Wrong. This is fantastic. This is
the ultimate kids movie.
The ultimate family movie.
Family movie.
I want to say that very specifically. This is not just for kids. This is a return to like 90s family movies where genuinely everyone can be entertained. I think this is not just for kids. I think this is a whole family fun experience. I'll spoil it right now. This is a see it twice for me.
We haven't seen it twice. Just letting you know.
I probably will see it twice.
I'm surprised you didn't go and see it this weekend, actually. But
there's still time. It's still in theaters.
But it's getting great reviews, not just from us, but from a lot of people out there. I think this caught a lot of people by surprise. The common theme with this is that somebody said it's Babe meets Knives Out. And I think that's a great description of this.
Yes, that's a perfect descriptor. Off mic, Ethan said to me, this movie got a 3.8 out of 5 stars. And I said, that's wolf propaganda, because this should be a 5 out of 5. It's fantastic.
Is it one of your top movies so far this year?
I think so. Definitely in this category, this is the best family movie that I've seen this year.
Oh, this is the best family movie that I've seen
since Shrek 2, maybe. That is really high praise coming from me. For me to compare something to Shrek 2, which for me is the gold standard of family movies, I think this is right up there with it.
Not only that, I mean, we all have young ones in our lives, and it's kind of gone away to kind of go to the theater, and the theaters, I guess movies now, as you said, have separated us to where either the kids enjoy it or you enjoy it. This brings us all kind of back together. But let's kind of get into the details of like the cast and who's in it, who's not in it, what characters you kind of liked. I will say my favorite character in this was probably, I didn't even mention him, but Chris O'Dowd.
Chris O'Dowd, I think, really, really stands out in this film. I think his voice somehow matches perfectly onto what you think a sheep might sound like. It's just very well thought out. The voice actors do an incredible job. They're all great actors in their own right, and they still are believable as sheep. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is probably the lead of this film, and I think she's excellent. This isn't her first animated role. If you remember A Bug's Life, to bring back Pixar into this, she is fantastic in that film. I think she's only gotten better. You feel invested in these sheep. You feel invested in the mystery. This is an Agatha Christie for kids. It's a well thought out mystery. It's surprising enough that you'll keep invested in the story, but also very heartwarming at the same time.
So Hugh Jackman is listed as the top billed cast member in this, and he is the sheep herder, but no spoilers here. He plays a small role in the movie, I guess you could say. But at the same time, you could tell that he put a lot of effort and heart into this role.
I think everyone that's involved with this is putting their whole heart into it. Definitely Hugh Jackman, but also the sheriff character. I forget the actor's name. Nicholas Braun. I think he does a fantastic job. He's like a very hapless character that I think is entertaining for everyone.
The clueless sheriff.
He's endearing enough that even though it's a little tropey, it doesn't get annoying. I think this movie is just really, really good.
If they were to make is this movie worthy of a sequel?
Yes.
Can it be made into a sequel?
Yes, I'll go see 5 of these. If they want to, I'll see Sheep Detective 5 in theaters. I don't want to go too overboard, but in all seriousness, I hope that they do make a sequel. This is based on a book series, and I'm not sure, actually I shouldn't say series, I'm not sure if it is a series. It's based on a book, and I hope there are more in the series.
And by the way, I listed some of the cast members, but I left out some pretty famous people that play minor roles in this. I don't think this is... Regina Hall is in this movie.
Yeah, and she's amazing.
Patrick Stewart is amazing in this movie.
That's part of the fun. You're going to have fun, like, trying to think, wait, is that Regina Hall? That's part of the fun of the movie, but...
Brett Goldstein has probably less than 20 lines in this movie, and he delivers it perfectly.
It's perfect. Everyone is extremely well cast. Their voices really put so much personality into the sheep, and this I think has not the same issues. I know a lot of people had problems with the live action Lion King, that the animal faces didn't look expressive enough. Maybe it is just because they're sheep, but you really can feel their heart through their little animated, live action faces. The CG is really, really fantastic, I think. There's never a moment where it takes you out of the story because it looks artificial. Everything looks really good. The cinematography is really colorful and light. It's just, I think, a really heartwarming movie. And I really needed a heartwarming movie. I feel like we haven't seen very many heartwarming tales in theaters this year. This one was really good to see.
I'll ask you to pick something that you possibly didn't like about this movie because you're giving it sings and praises, but if somebody didn't like this movie, what would you think about them?
Come fight me. No, I'm just kidding, but I'm sure that there are people who are not going to like this as much as I did. I'm sure it's not for everyone. It just hit me at the right moment where I was really hoping for something a little lighthearted, and this delivered. So if I had to find a flaw in the movie, it may be a little too long for a kid's movie, or I should say family movie. It's a little on the longer side, but I don't think that there are any things that I would automatically cut from the film. So I just think this one makes sense.
I think probably my only complaint about this is that it's kind of a kid's movie that talks about murder. And, there's a lot of, sad things. But at the same time, there's a lot of, good explaining that it does in the movie. I mean, anything that I could nitpick about this. But you've already said see it. See it twice. See it 5 times. Who cares? Yes, I'm going to say see it as well. And when it comes out on streaming, guys, if you can't make it to the theater, huddle your family around. If it's a rainy day, this is perfect. Watch this movie.
Yes, it's a see it for me, but when it's streaming, I hope that I can watch this multiple more times with the kids in my life.
All right. So that's going to do it for Sheep Detectives. We will come back and wrap things up here on See It, Stream It, Skip It. wrapping things up here on week 2 of See It, Stream It, Skip It. This is our closeout segment where we normally tease what we're going to be watching next week and also what the upcoming movies that we have all throughout the summer. But, Celeste, I will let you do the honors of saying what we will be watching this weekend and talking about next week.
Well, let me just say, maybe it is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. We're going to be talking about Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah, one of the fun Star Wars summer blockbusters. Gosh, I can't even. It's crazy to think about what. When was the last time we had a Star Wars blockbuster in theaters?
I don't want to remind you of this, but I think it was Rise of Skywalker. Was that the last one?
Is it really? That's the last one?
I can't remember if Han Solo was after. I think it's after. I think that was the last one that was in theaters.
Rough way to end.
I really hope that this one is better. I'm really looking forward to it. I really like the Mandalorian series, so I'm hoping that this is just a return to what we're used to seeing with that show.
I'm also just kind of hoping, though, with a television show condensed into a movie, normally that does not have a good track record of condensing a television story into a movie. So I really hope that they're able to condense it into a 2.5 hour, 2 hour period.
Disagree. The Simpsons movie is great. And it's a 20-year show, encapsulated in a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, but I think that's like an outside of the norm. I feel like it doesn't work more than it does work.
Fair enough.
I mean, Twilight Zone has tried multiple times. Doesn't work. I think Miami Vice tried it. It didn't really work either.
I think they're trying it again with Miami Vice. I think this one's going to have Michael B. Jordan in it, though, so it might be good. Who knows?
And your favorite guy, Elvis.
Austin Butler.
Yeah.
He says my favorite guy sarcastically.
Yeah.
We'll also be talking about Obsession next week, which is a horror movie. I know that we just covered a horror movie with Hokum, but actually there's just a lot of horror movies on the docket right now.
Yeah. And we'll be probably discussing later a spoof horror movie in Scary Movie later on in June. But that brings us to the next point that I wanted to talk about. We're getting into that summer blockbuster season, so we'll be here every week talking about 2 of the movies that are out in theaters. I know personally myself, I'm really looking forward to Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, not just because it's Christopher Nolan, but I'm a big, huge fan of The Odyssey epic. And we'll be doing a bonus episode of our favorite Christopher Nolan movies. I know we'll probably contrast a lot because when it comes to Christopher Nolan, you and I have totally different separate ideas. And then being the nerd that I am, of course, I'm excited for the new Spider-Man movie. But I know you're excited because one of your favorite directors is returning in one of his best genres.
Yes, I love a Steven Spielberg sci-fi movie. So I'm excited to see what Disclosure Day brings and to talk about all my favorite Steven Spielberg movies on our bonus episodes.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So be sure to tune into those wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, once again, Devil Wears Prada 2 and Hokum are still in theaters right now. So if you want a review of that, you can refer to our first episode on wherever you get your podcast, episode 1. And this has been really fun. I really enjoyed Sheep Detectives. Mortal Kombat, maybe not so much.
See Sheep Detectives.
Yeah. See Sheep Detectives twice. Maybe don't see, maybe don't see Mortal Kombat 2 once. See Sheep Detectives twice.
Yes.
All right. That's going to do it for episode 2 of See It, Stream It, Skip It.